Morning folks, I'm a bit earlier than normal today just because I've got things to do, but we've had a question today about elbow pain. So Karina asked about what she can do for elbow pain. She knows it's to do with using iPads and iPhones and all that sort of stuff, basically your devices. So you're spending a lot of time with your arms bent and you're doing this kind of thing all the time. So the elbows, because that's the connection joint between the shoulder and your wrists. It could be that there's tension in your shoulder that's showing up in your elbow, or there could be a lot of this action going on where you're bending your wrist a lot. So you might have heard of things like carpal tunnel. So carpal tunnel is the narrowing of the nerve, narrowing of the area where the nerve goes through in your wrist, because your wrist has been like this for a long time. So you'll feel it in your wrist. However, with your elbow, you've heard of things like tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. So that just depends on which side you're feeling it most. Now, if you're just feeling a general tightness in your elbow, then you need to just loosen up the muscles that affect the elbow. So that's both above it and below it, but also address what's happening in your shoulders. So make sure your shoulders are firstly rolled back. So you can do some tension releasing stretches or movements just to move the traps and just get the shoulders moving. So you want your shoulders to sit in their neutral position, which is behind rather than in front. So as soon as they're in front here, you're already compromising muscles that run along the upper arm. So make sure your shoulders are back. So you can check this by looking at the positioning of your hands. So if I just move this back slightly, you'll see. So if need to go back a little bit further. If you are protracted, your shoulders come forward, you'll notice that the palms of your hands start to face behind you. When your shoulders are in the correct position, in their more optimal neutral position, here the palms of your hands start to face in towards your thighs instead. So that's just bringing them back. So once they're here, your muscles can rest at their normal length. And then once you're here, you can start thinking about how your arms are hanging. Now, are your elbows quite bent? So if your elbows are quite bent like this, then your biceps are probably quite tight here. So in order to stretch this area out, there are a few things you can do. One of them is this. So it's a waterfall stretch. So you can put your hands on so your palms of your hands meet each other, and then you stretch it out and bring it out. So you're lengthening through that bicep there. So you want to create that length there, and you hold it. So you want to hold for about 20 to 30 seconds just to create that length here. So you want to make sure you are trying to straighten your elbow as much as you can in this process. This one doesn't feel so bad, so I'm going to do this arm next. And I know this one has. So those of you who've had your COVID vaccine, you might have also found that that has tightened up your bicep. And I know I'm not the only one this has happened to. I've had a client also tell me that this has happened to her as well. So your biceps can tighten up from having that vaccine, and you'll need to do some stretches for your arm in order to regain some of that movement back into it. So this is really good for it, just stretching out that bicep. So once you've done that, you can then shake it out again and again, just do those shoulder shrugs, and then have a reassess and see where your arms are at. Are they a little bit straighter? Hopefully they are. And then what you can do for your actual elbows themselves, so depending on where exactly you're feeling it, you can start to knuckle around those areas. So you can either use your fingers and knuckle around it, or if you're not that way inclined, then just use your fingers around the actual joint itself where you might be feeling it. So you want to get into the tendons. So for me, this arm, like here, I can feel that feels a bit gnarly, and that's where it's a little bit tight. So I'm just going to rub in that area here. So that's where the tendon is, and that's where the nerves are. So I'm just rubbing here, and then I'm going to straighten and then rotate. So you want to also add all these rotations in. You don't want to just be straight, because you're only hitting one area, one particular muscle group then. Because it's your elbows, you want to be able to get into stretch out and move as much as you can. So if you do the rotations, you're moving all the muscles around your forearms as well. So that hasn't made a lot of difference, but I can feel it goes higher. So it's probably coming more from here. So you can massage all around your triceps. Just feel it, and you'll feel if there's tension on. I and there is quite, and I have just done a workout, so that probably hasn't helped. But if you feel all around here, you can feel if there's tension, just give it a little bit of massage, and then get in under the armpits as well. So the triceps will attach into the back of your shoulder as well, so into your scapula, into your shoulder blade. So you want to just prod around there as well. If you've got a tennis ball, you can have a quick roll around there. And once you've done that, again, just make sure you're doing some movements. And that for me has made a big difference. It's really loosened it off. So if you find that's not, you're still getting niggles around your elbow, you want to then go into your forearm. So your forearm, you can start with this top section. So it should be quite meaty here, and you should feel like it kind of, there's like a little groove where your muscles are two distinct heads. So you can like grab the top one and you can massage this area. So you want to be able to just increase the blood flow to this area by just rubbing here. You don't want to ideally do it whilst your arm is like you're having to bear weight in your arm up here. So if you're in a rested position and you're sitting on a sofa, you can do it there and just rub. So you want to grab and go higher above the elbow as well. So you're going straight up there. And then once you've done that top bit, again, you can move it around, see if that's made a difference. If it has, great. If it hasn't, go into this lower section. So like where I said there was a groove, just go into that lower area. And again, same thing. You're using the heel of your hand against it and you're rubbing to increase the texture. So you're changing the texture of your muscles as you do this by increasing blood flow to the area. So just getting those tissue fibers moving. Now I've got my watch on, but you could obviously take your watch off and then you can go into your wrists as well. So where your wrists are here, you want to be able to just rub outwards each side. So these are where the nerves run through. So if you just rub those areas, any tension that's in those areas from being bent over, using your devices, get rid of that. And then again, do wrist circles. So from just doing that, this arm now feels much lighter than this arm. So I'll have to do this arm to make up, to balance it out. So I'm going to do the same thing. So where there's that groove there, I'm just going to grab and massage here. Just by, it's like if you were kneading dough, you're just trying to roll it slightly. So you squeeze with the heel of your hand and then you sort of roll it. So you don't have to do a lot of it. It warms it up. So you're increasing that blood flow. And then just go a little bit higher above the elbow. And then straighten and rotate. And then same on the bottom. So again, it's that heel of the hand. You're trying to roll out that tissue. Just come under the elbow here. And again, straighten and roll. Now they both feel the same. So make sure you get lots of wrist movement in. Oh yeah, and I didn't do that on this side, did I? Just, it's like a little stroke in action. You don't press really hard. Just a little stroke that goes past. You might even feel the nerves go as you do it. The nerves will go through your thumbs and fingers. Might feel like a little tingling. Just that's why you don't press so hard. And there you go. So hopefully, if you do a bit of that, your arms should feel freer, move more easily, and feel lighter. Okay, have a good day. Bye.